My roommate is seriously a nightmare. I can't get her off my back, and now she's going behind me and telling my parents a bunch of lies. Well, I found out a secret about her, and I'm gonna expose it. I'm 19 and female, and I never expected my roommate to turn on me. We've been friends since high school, but we weren't particularly close. We mostly hung out in the same social circles, and when we both decided to attend the same university, it seemed natural to become roommates. We've been together for a year now in a rented apartment. 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment, and we are in the first year of college. The first couple of months, great. We've gotten along pretty well. We are having fun decorating our new apartment, going out to parties, and enjoying our newfound freedom. And lately, something had changed in Samantha. She became increasingly controlling, delusional, and resentful towards me, and I couldn't figure out why. She would ask me not to smack my mouth while eating, so I would force me to eat alone in my room, and say things like, I'm making our apartment a hostile environment by ignoring her concerns. She often moves my things and takes them when she thinks that they're not organized right. She denied anything was wrong, but I could feel the tension between us growing every single day. She starts complaining about my cat, who is my emotional support animal, and treated him as if he's a monster. She refers to my cat as it, as if he's an object, and refuses to call him by his name. She knew there was a cat when she moved in, and I have no clue why she turned like this just all of a sudden. Then, when I informed her that I made a New Year's resolution to become vegetarian, she says the nice thing we had with common dinners is now ruined, and that I did not discuss it with her before turning to a vegan. Since this directly, quote, affects her as she has to cook dinner alone now, that isn't even the biggest problem. She is terrified of smoke alarms, and I mean terrified. She comes out of her room every time I try to cook and opens the window, sometimes even the front door, and watches me until I'm done. She literally does not leave until I'm done cooking or eating. She freaks out whenever I cook. Whether there's a steam or smoke, she told me that she was going to stop watching me when expressed my uncomfortableness. But she just still continues to do it. She pretends like she's microwaving tea every time I cook, but in reality, she's just watching me. It feels like everything I do she's mad about. She gives me so much anxiety, and I feel like I'm living in her house with her rules, as I haven't really been able to do anything without her getting mad. While I was out at the library, I overheard some girls talking about needing a room for rent in a house close to campus. I then texted Samantha saying, "Would you consider finding new living circumstances as we both are unhappy?" She didn't answer the text, and when I later told her to talk to the management and maybe get transferred out because this simply wasn't working, she insisted that I was a horrible friend for asking that she left. I have no interest in being friends with her at this point, despite how many times I've told her about how the things she does bothers me. It's been too long for friendship to be an option here now. She took it all extremely personally and said nothing. Then 2 weeks later, it all blew up when I tried to make her understand this is not a great living situation. I think you should move out. Let's set your move out date in a month. She told me that she doesn't want to move out because our unit is so close to the elevator and stairs. It's convenient for her. She said she would get too stressed if she had to go through all that. She doesn't care about the stress that she gives me, but only thinks about herself. Our mutual friends are split. Some do agree with me and some agree with her. Her behavior widely is seen as a cry for help, but no one's sure what to do, as often if you try to help, you get a negative response. One night, I came home from work to find Samantha on the phone, talking to someone in hushed tones. She hung up as soon as she saw me and brushed off my questions about who the heck she was just talking to. It was strange because ever since we became roommates, she has been receiving these weird, mysterious phone calls, and I sometimes overheard her side of the conversation. One day, I eavesdropped on one of her calls, and I heard her say, and I quote, "Snow is never free, bro." Well, I wasn't sure what it meant, but it sounded like ominous at times. I wonder sometimes I would notice strange people just coming in and out of the apartment, odd hours. I start to wonder if Samantha was involved in something shady like drugs. Drugs are a big no for me. I'm just about fed up with this nonsense and have half a mind to clue some in. I just don't have a patience for irresponsible bullcrap. And she simply doesn't deserve to skate by. If I'm being honest, I'm hoping she would get booted from the university and then would have no reason to live with me anymore. But that's neither here nor there. She doesn't deserve to be in class if she's behaving like this. A couple weeks back, I was in the kitchen making myself some dinner. I received a call from my parents who sounded unusually worried. They told me that Samantha had been reaching out to them about my revealing clothing. She had been asking them to intervene in my decisions and make sure that I was behaving properly. My mother says, and I quote, "You know better than anyone what a male mind is going to imagine when they see a woman wearing revealing clothes." Well, personally, I lashed out, told that I'm not someone who seeks male validation. First off, I can dress however I please, and I will wear whatever the heck I want. I'm an equal tenant who's allowed to dress in shorts and tank top. Second, I can't help if Samantha's boyfriend is imagining things looking at me. I can't control what he, or anyone else for that matter, thinks. So, for context, I should mention that my parents are in the 50s and come from a very conservative, old-fashioned background. My father and mom call me every day, and usually a couple times a day. It's nothing major. I call her when I'm walking back from one of my classes, and she calls me when she's making lunch. The calls combined aren't ever more than 30 minutes, and it's mainly just for her to check in on me. She goes crazy if I don't call at all, and if I was still on campus heading to my next class, she would still doubt me. Let me set it straight, I really do love my mom, and she has done leaps and bounds for me ever since I was born, but she can absolutely be insane sometimes. On more than one occasion when I was a teenager, my father would stop by my friend's house in the middle of the night to check if my car was outside. My car is pretty uncommon in my area, and it's very recognizable at first glance. Even when I first moved in with Samantha, my dad checked up on me to see if I'm staying at a guy's house. He doesn't know the address, but he went up and down the area looking for my car. I'm not allowed to talk to people that my parents haven't met. If I want to be acquaintances or friends with someone, my parents need me to provide them all their information. My parents even have access to my bank account and monitor the activity daily. They require me to be on a tracking app, so they can keep tabs of me 24/7. I understand that I'm extremely blessed to have parents who care so much, but they often care a bit too much. Like my phone. They recently bought me a new iPhone, telling me it would be an opportunity to, quote, restore trust. My parents have never trusted me, even though I haven't done anything to give them a reason not to trust me. Anyways, my father put every single restriction on the phone that you can ever think of. They're very stubborn to convince and reason with. Now, I was shocked and hurt that Samantha would do something like that. My peace and quiet are non-existent at this point. I was absolutely steaming as she went behind my back to complain to my parents. I truly didn't know how to respond. The conversation made me pretty uncomfortable, and I've pretty much just tried to stay in my room for the past few days. And when I confronted her about it, she denied it at first. But after the final admission that she had been contacting them for my well-being, she even went as far as asking them to help fix me. She nitpicks every single thing I do. Here's an example. One time, I was watering plants and she ran to my parents and complained that my, quote, greenery was taking over the whole house and had poured so much money into decorating. It was a potted rose. But she made me move it. She even spread rumors about me around the campus. She'd been telling everyone that I was a terrible roommate, that I was the reason why our apartment was always dirty and messy. Samantha knows my family very well over the years, so she's using it to make my parents talk some sense into me. The only outcome of this is that now it's become an even more distance between me and my parents and made them get the false idea that I'm starting to change after growing up. I was furious. I told her that she had no right to go behind my back like that and try to control me. I made it clear that I was my own person and that I did not need her nor my parents to tell me what to do. I firmly told her to not behave like this as it hurt me a lot. I was at a breaking point mentally. I asked her for my mental health's sake just to please move out. She didn't seem to get the message. She keeps contacting my parents and reporting everything I do in a day, and she often lies to them that I don't even clean. She constantly is demanding I do chores properly, like how she does it to her standards. I do keep a relatively clean space, but I won't have an aneurysm over the dishes not being washed for a night. What really got me was yesterday, she told me, and I quote, I expect this to be clean when I get back. Well, I kinda lost it. I blew up. Ended up having a massive argument, and she thinks everything I do is disgusting and has no problem saying it. But it's pure delusion. She said some truly horrible things to me. It was like she looked into my heart and my brain, saw my biggest insecurities, and confirmed not only that I was correct, but that they were far worse than I ever believed. In the end, she said she's been resenting me since our original blow-up, and holding on to things that were said. Then she hurled some more insults my way, and said that she's allowed to say these things because it's, quote, revenge, for the way I spoke to her months ago about sending her out of the home. I broke, and just kept repeatedly asking her to get out. I can't live like this, please leave. I've been walking on eggshells for what feels like an eternity. After finally giving up on attack mode, she said, I have nowhere else to go. She walked off crying and texted someone and left after a while. I discreetly followed her to see where she was going. I hoped to find something about the drug thing, I assumed. But she got out of the car and spoke to a man smiling and walked together into a concert hall. For a little context behind that, Samantha's been dating another man for about 2 years, and her boyfriend, Alaric, is madly in love with her. I'm talking sickeningly sweet. He's loved her since day one, and he's shown it in the most cheesy ways you could ever imagine. He showers her with chocolate and Body Shop packages and whatnot. I've known Samantha for about a third of my life, and I knew that she was the flirting type of gal, but I never really expected, her to start another relationship while with Alaric. Just to confirm, I took her phone, her password, obvious, and I saw a selfie of her kissing a new guy. I sent it to myself via Bluetooth. I didn't look at any more photos, but I'm sure I would have found more. I wanted to leverage this. It breaks my heart, but for my own sanity and peace of mind, I have to let this friend go. The only way for this to happen so she stops treating me like crap is if I exposed her secrets to our mutual friends. and also her parents and boyfriend. I also have pain and anguish, my own difficulties. This dynamic hurts me a lot. I can't be complacent in my own neglect. I have to do what's right for me. Over the last year, I've been caught between caring emotionally for and relating to her struggles, being given the cold shoulder every time there's an issue that arises that needs to be worked out, and having my trust constantly abused. If anything, I'm definitely the idiot. I feel used. I feel taken advantage of, and I've never had this kind of problem before. I really want to, but my friend, who was close to both of us, said that telling these things to her parents and her boyfriend would ruin her life. She contacted me first. We are still acquaintances, and asked why I ignored Samantha's request because apparently Samantha told her I ignored it. I told her the entire story, and she understood every word. I also conceded that an apology, which I never received, would be good enough for me to help a little. She suggested that I talk to Samantha directly before making any rash decisions. I do feel kinda bad for not viewing this as a she doesn't know the right way situation type, rather than the more antagonistic turn it took. What do I possibly tell that will change everything? Why should I not tell her parents or boyfriend? I'm so confused. What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. Today's story is a relationship, friendship drama, and oh boy, are things about to heat up in update number 1. If you guys are new to the channel, hello, my name's Mr. Reddito. I animate stories every single day, so if you're into that kind of thing, click that subscribe button so you never miss any future videos. And let's go ahead and see what's going on with OP, her friend, and her boyfriend, Alaric. You have no idea how relieving it is to hear from others too that Samantha is a nightmare. Thank you for the support in the comment sections, really. Guys, I took my friend's advice and sat down with Samantha to have a heart-to-heart convo. Let me tell you what happened. Okay, here are a few quick tidbits of info before I start because there are some layers to this. I don't want to ramble too much. I have a medical condition that I take medicine for. I have bad allergies that cause my nose to swell up until I can't breathe. So, I have to regularly take a nasal spray that's similar to a steroid used in some asthma medication. I have painful periods, and I'm on a strong pain reliever for back pain for an injury. I take all of these daily, and I have a good stock of them. Soon, I started to notice my stock was decreasing, and then I also noticed the list on Samantha's bed. It had numbers of medication she had sold as hard drugs. She made a lot of money out of it as she's written down prices of how much she's made. I was shocked after seeing the proof, but also worried about what she's gotten herself into. My roommate, who I thought I knew, is apparently dealing drugs. I gave her direct advice and a warning after revealing to her that I know all of her secrets and also have proof. I told her to leave the business, stop creating problems between me and my parents, and come clean with her boyfriend. I told her that she can't do stuff like that. She'll end up in prison. I have to tell her parents when asked if she was in any trouble with dodgy people or something. She screamed at me that I've invaded her privacy and that she'll get sent to prison because they were my medication anyways. I mean, what was she trying to prove? It was like she was trying to use it against me or something. It was messed up. So, I then tell her that I also heard a recorded conversation with her drug buddy. She just kept on yelling about how I used her private information to blackmail her, to get us some kind of sick revenge for not getting along. She told me I was ruining the most important things in her life. Do you not have any empathy for the gravity of this situation, Emily? It's so ducked up to be torturing me like this, she would say. I left feeling like a horrible person, A part of me doesn't want to expose her like this for the way that I've been treated. Now, we stopped talking to each other, except for when she's insulting me when we pass by in college, or just ignoring me in general. I really don't want her to ruin herself, and tried talking to her, but it didn't help. So that was the last resort. Update number 2. I didn't plan to ever log back into this account, but a lot of people started following me after my previous update. When I talked to Samantha last time, I could see that she realized that her plan to control me backfired. But she did not take me seriously still. She thinks that her parents are liberal and loving. They won't make it a big deal when they know about her secrets. I don't know why she would be risking being exposed to her boyfriend, though. She also cried to my parents that I'm threatening her with false allegations, and that I'm the one lying about bringing in strange men into the house. Father then rang me up to have a conversation with me about how often my male friend stays over. Okay, so a friend of mine who currently doesn't have a place to live, high rent, but he is employed as a mechanic. He gave me a call asking if he could just have a shower, get in, shower, and go. I said, yeah, come by tomorrow at 6. I just knew that this would not go over well. So I go in and tell Samantha what's going on. She absolutely freaks out. And I mean flips. Basically calls my friend a vagrant that's going to start sleeping on the couch. And says she's worried for her safety now that she doesn't know, who I'm going to bring home. I didn't tell her priorly that I was having someone over because I knew she would push back like this, and I just wanted to help my friend out. He's a good guy that just doesn't want to pay a ridiculous amount of money for an apartment. He'd rather sleep in his car and shower when he needs to. So, over the past few weeks, he has used the shower about 2 to 3 times total, maybe a week in total. Sometimes 3 nights, sometimes 1. It's almost always during the weekend. I will also mention that our utility bills have not increased whatsoever during this time. I checked. This has not even been a problem during the first week, and I don't see why it's suddenly an issue now. Now she's told me about this to my parents, and I've been getting continuous calls, but I don't answer. This is a serious matter when it comes to my parents and Samantha using it against me. This is the final straw for me. I'd started going on a campaign of making her incredibly uncomfortable. I set off the smoke alarm deliberately, stopped doing the dishes, and, worn my shorts every chance I got. Does she want to make my space uncomfortable? I will give that energy right back, girl. No matter what issues we may have with each other, petty revenge is not what I wanted. I did not want to stoop unless absolutely necessary. That being said, there's a limit to everything, and Samantha just crossed it. This update, I guess, is just me venting about it. I'm just in awe of how a person can be so selfish and ridiculous. Anyways, thanks guys for all the comments. I will update soon enough. Update number 3. Things are heating up. So, this is another update. I wasn't really expecting to make an update, but there's been a development, so I wanted to share it with you. I'll spare the details, but Samantha telling my male friend to my parents led me to expose her and give her what she actually deserves. I couldn't keep her secrets anymore. Remember that list? Well, of course I did not throw it away. I showed it along with the recordings to Samantha's parents in Alaric. I told her parents that they were lucky I only told them and did not report it to the police. I revealed to Alaric that Samantha had been cheating on him all along. Eventually, I had to break the news to him because he was still madly in love with her, and I just didn't want him to be fooled. It might have been harsh, but I knew it would still hurt him no matter how much cushion I placed under him. So, I just straight up told him, "Hey bro, Samantha's cheating on you, Alaric. It took him a while to respond, and he answered me very simply. I'll talk to her. I immediately thought I messed up. Well, some 4 hours pass and I get a text from Sam. She's upset with me because I told Alaric. At college, she came to me looking at me like I stabbed her in the back. I just told her what I felt and she stopped talking to me like always, before telling everyone that I'm setting her up. The fallout, you could say, was pretty intense. Samantha did not expect this. Her activities were exposed for all to see, and she lost the respect of everyone she knew. Our friends were shocked and disgusted by Samantha's behavior. My parents were devastated to find out this too. They were shocked to find out that their daughter's best friend was involved in something so dangerous. She's facing a world of trouble right now. Okay, here's where I currently stand. What I did may not be good. I'm not going to argue that. And yes, it was out of spite, but I do not think that it was wrong. She broke the law, broke my heart and her boyfriend's, and this will ensure she doesn't do it again. I really don't like her at this point, so whatever happens to her life and her future is not going to make me lose one little bit of wink of sleep. I know this may sound heartless, but I still believe I'm right. This was not a revenge for this particular situation. Oh no, this was for every single thing she did to me in the past few months. I did not do this with the intent of getting her kicked out of the home. I did this so she could get a slap of reality. I've had it with her, and this was me saying so. Well guys, I promise I'm going to post again very soon. The semester's end just has me extremely busy at the moment. I'm hoping to post again in a few days. What's up everybody, Mr. Reddito here. Guys, this story's not exactly over yet. So, there is one more final update, and OP did go ahead and come back and post. Here it is, update number 4, final update posted by OP. I just want to thank everyone for commenting and giving me advice on my updates and my original post. Sorry I could not get to you all. I needed time and space to heal from the hurt that Samantha caused me. So, I kicked her out of the house as obviously I won't pay for her share of the rent, since she was disowned by her parents and is left with no monthly money from them at all. She had to vacate the room. Before packing her stuff, she demanded that I send her $1,400 so she can move. Her logic, and I quote, I forced her to leave, so I need to take care of her moving expense. I said I don't have the money now, and she says I'm a terrible, horrible person who she wishes she never met. I now chose to ignore her, barely even giving her the time of day, and refused to get into any debates. At my college, there's a place where people who can't afford groceries for the week can go just to get a few of the necessities, bread, noodles, toothpaste, etc. I told her to get that. Anyways, she should have saved a lot in selling those drugs, huh? She can use that money till she finds a job and moves to another apartment. I told her to never come back until she apologized, seeks therapy, and admitted to all her lies. Very recently, I heard that Samantha had to live in a shelter and search for a job from there. Despite how mad I was, it was getting close to the summer holiday, and I'm not the petty person to allow her to become homeless. I feel like if I try and help her, then I'll be back at square one, so I did what I was going to do. I gave her a month's worth of rent for a female-only hostel, and also gave her a food voucher. Looking back, I asked myself if I could have handled the situation differently. Maybe if I have talked to Samantha sooner and confronted her about the drugs as soon as I suspected it. Well, things might not have turned out so different, huh? But at the time, I was hurt, I was angry, and I didn't know what to do. All I wanted was for her to stop hurting me and trying to control my life. I hope Samantha undergoes therapy, to address her underlying issues of resentment towards others and also to come out of the drug business. As for me, Well, I started volunteering in groups of people with those with special needs. I felt that they were less likely to have an alternate motive and use me. It was fun and I had a blast. Honestly, I learned a lot of useful life skills and nobody ever seemed to target me. I never really made any friends there though so far, but they're chill. They like me hanging around in their section. So it feels like they generally want me there. So that's it, I guess. I don't see the reason for another update. Thank you everyone, every single one of you. Alright guys, let me hear what you would do in the comment section down below. Say you were in OP's position and you were forced to go ahead and give these secrets up to the parents and the boyfriend. How would you go about doing it, and would you do it? Drop your opinions down below. Let's talk about this story. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing for daily videos, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.